Hey guys, all right, I am back from my little bit of a kind of like a little bit of a rut I was in pretty much all last week. Did not feel like touching the game, did not mess with the game, but I will say I think messing around with the tiger exhibit here, which is totally so like just gotten out of the scope of what Pine Creek Zoo was originally supposed to be. But to tell you the truth, here at the end, I just kind of started running out of a little motivation. I'm like really antsy for a DLC to come out or some kind of announcement, like I was telling you guys in the last video. But one thing I noticed that Shantae tweeted out earlier today, as far as the forum posts go, that has to do with their stream schedules. She said in March, be on the lookout for some surprises. And she also said that there's some things like, she said something to the effect of, we will keep this post updated as I'm allowed to give out more information. So I think, like I was telling Beyond Drew, he's another one of my buddies that has really kind of been out of it for a couple weeks, just not really felt like building. I said, I think March is going to be very interesting, and hopefully so. I don't think Shantae usually doesn't let us down when she puts that type of stuff into those posts. Now, if that wasn't in there, I would really be sitting here like, oh crap, it probably really is going to be April until we see some kind of new, larger update, DLC. And of course, it may be still in April, but at least maybe we'll get some news in March. Something just to keep us looking forward to is what I was kind of alluding to in the last video in Beyond Drew and Coaster Designer, my buddy Michael. I was telling a couple of you all, Claire, I need something out there on the horizon to look forward to. So hopefully that is what she meant by keeping up with those live streams in March. Hopefully. But nonetheless, we have moved on with the Asian area. Like I said, totally have blown the budget out of the water. For some of you people that have been around since that experiment zoo, this will look quite familiar to you. I've, of course, totally being non-realistic, because this glass wall would have to be quite a bit higher to keep them from like leaping over this. But nonetheless, this is the little tiger lagoon right here that they love swimming around in. And I've basically got I kind of went with the Zoo Knoxville Tiger Temple type area, and I've got the little cool looking tiger sign there. My buddy, let's see who did this. Just a quick little sign they put together. My buddy Maurice's. Yes, Maurice's sun tiger. Pulled that off the workshop a couple days ago, and I thought, you know, that looks pretty cool on the side of that building. Sits right off to the side of our giant enclosure over here, all implied, of course, with birds. But you can make your way in, and remember too, there's a lot of cleaning up to do on this. As far as fence work goes, I was kind of doing like my buddy Nutrihurst says, and Coaster Designer, to where you always want to try to make sure you have not only the regular fence that keeps the animals back, but also the guest fence, because obviously we wouldn't want people going up and sticking their arms right in the tiger enclosure, or little kids wandering up to it. So definitely looking to have that second barrier. I've got to finish that over here on the other side, but a lot of cleaning up in here to do. But you get the just idea in here. This is like the little pass-through part. Very, very basic shell right now, but you can make your way into the temple here, and you can look out. Hopefully, like, you know, if you were in here, the tigers would be maybe laying right up against the glass here, kind of maybe over here in the shade, and you could get a real good look at them. And then, of course, once you make your way out, there are a couple different places, and like I said, we've got to get the fence up along this path. But you can see them using their scratching post right here, and you can walk the whole length of their lagoon right here and watch them swim. And then, of course, like I said, still fencing right here to do. And if you actually even turn this way, look at this. Really, really close-up view of our tigers. Zoom back in here and see how... Yeah, see, may be able to bring this feeding board over just a little bit so you could get really, really close, but I think if you were standing in here, that is a pretty good view of our Bengal tiger. Actually, I have two of them in there. And that's another thing, too, that Nutrihurst is probably going to destroy me on. Typically, with the tigers, they do not have them together like this. Typically, unless they're letting them come together to breed. For the most part, like as far as Zoo Knoxville goes, there would basically be a barrier here somewhere, an indoor type barrier, to where they let them switch off. So the male may be over here one day, and then partway through the week, in one of the mornings, they would let him come over here. And he would, spray and explore over on this side while the female is over here. So I think he was telling me, unless they were really, unless it was like some type of breeding program going on where they let them be together for controlled amounts of time, I don't think typically they would just share this space. But I think as far as Pine Creek goes, and then remember too, if you're new, the giant space and the giant area that we have given the African animals, kind of like in our tiered little enclosure area over here with the lions, the zebras, the giraffes, and then finally, when you first make your way in, the actual Stokely Family Elephant Preserve. That is a high-ticket type of expansion, and of course we've got the meerkats, we've got the ring-tailed lemurs, we have got the chimpanzees over here playing around. Really, really high expansion, multi-million-dollar expansion, and that's what I was telling my buddy Michael about, maybe kind of overlooking the S-Dan Wolf of this whole area. We were just looking at it as a large, newer expansion of the zoo. So, of course, over here in the middle section, it's older, kind of like where the American section is. Take you down in here, like this is where the black bears are. Older section, where Jenna and Maggie are at, our two resident grizzly bears. This is all like really, really old, like an older section of the zoo. Same way with the timber wolf enclosure over here. Older section, but when you move out into the Asian area and the African area, we are looking at this whole section as fairly new, fairly expensive expansions to make on the zoo. And I think that kind of helps a little bit. I was telling Coaster Designer with, we're just kind of helping that story along when people are like, well, this does not seem like a quaint little family zoo. much anymore. And I think, like I said, we can maybe blame that on expansions. I actually have the clouds. I love the way some of the bigger trees look with the clouds on. Let's go ahead and speed this up, and we'll go look at the tiger area with no clouds. And then maybe we can let it rain too. Whoops. Let's make all the clouds go away. Okay. I think that's pretty clear. See, the whole park kind of just loses that cloudiness, fogginess look. You even see the trees in their little expansion. It all takes on like a little bit darker type of look. I usually play around 13, between 12 and 13. Just kind of depending on how I want the light to hit stuff. Like, that looks really, really cool with the tiger enclosure kind of catching that late afternoon sun. What else can we take a look at? The campsite looks cool. Let's look at the meerkats and the bridge kind of going from that way. Whoops. Whoops. That shot us over to the zip line. Okay, let's get back down in here. Sensibly. Yeah. Really, really cool late evening shot coming down through this main pathway. Gotta get some fencing up right here. You wouldn't want people just kind of traipsing out all into that. Let's see what the tower looks like. Yeah, really cool. Let's go to like early morning. Whoops. It's like 8 o'clock. Everything's kind of, the park's starting to buzz with the staff and stuff. More so, getting stuff ready. Let's look at the lions exhibit over here. Or the Bengal tiger. Yeah. Pretty cool, having a morning swim. Oh yeah, that looks really, really cool. Look at that light kind of coming through there. Just kind of cascading off the rocks and the limbs of the tree. Really, really awesome. But yeah. Parking lot starting to buzz about a little bit. Like always, big shout out to Ricey here for helping me with that zoo sign. That is just absolutely killer. I'm just giddy every time I look at that sign. So yeah, if you haven't seen it before, this is what Pine Creek Zoo looks like on us in the morning time. Classes getting ready to begin, animals getting fed, pens getting washed out, cleaned out. And then, like I said, I usually play between 12 and 13. This is typically, like this right here, what you see is typically how I fly around and build. Usually around, 13, 14. Check in on our pandas real quick. They're always out and about, swimming, scurrying around. But yeah. So anyways, guys, like I said, I'll jump off here. I kind of probably get on here and maybe even just like once I get done recording this, I think I'm going to start cleaning up the tiger area here a little bit. Really want to get the indoor area worked on a little bit. I was telling a couple people on Instagram, trying to we'll get this fence line cleaned up right here as well. But yeah, a lot of little tedious stuff to do. Remember, I've got to still kind of work our backstory, our kind of like access road back over that way. I still have not got a chance to work on the paleontology or the museum over here in the academic village, so definitely gotta work on that. If I had my guess, I would say this maybe has 2 episodes left of actually building on stuff. Maybe an episode, and then of course we'll do the last cinematic, and we will get this out on the workshop for you guys, and then hopefully we'll gear up for a new DLC announcement to cover, and then of course we'll start on a new zoo, try to come up with a name for that, and kind of just keep rolling on with some ideas. Like I said, bringing in this starting the whole tiger area has really kind of and taking last week off basically has given my brain a pretty good reset on what I want to try to do and some ideas for the new zoo. So yeah, Pine Creek, it's kind of sad it's coming to an end, but you guys will get to enjoy this and expand upon it yourselves. Probably here in the next 2 weeks or so, next 12, 13 days, we will get the cinematics filmed and yeah, get this on the actual workshops for you guys. So anyways, if you end up enjoying these videos, don't forget to smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here to keep up with all of this Planet Zoo mischief. And I'm S. Dan Wolf. Thank you as always for stopping by and hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you. See ya.